IMHO Talk Show.
IMHO Talk Show. Sir Charles.
Miss Max and Razor.
He always got
Thank
that
you, Miss
bull
Max.
with-
But you got a
You know
good
I'm over
woman.
here reading.
She had your back. Did you see that?
Yeah, on a
Good
birthday.
woman right there. That's right. You making her work on her birthday. Come
Thank
on,
you.
man.
Thank
Supposed to
you.
be ready. No, but thank y'all for staying tuned because we are here to keep bringing Seville to the world and I got it all mixed up, Max. We are here to keep taking Seville to the world and bringing the world to Seville.
There we go.
So, something like that. But as promised, though, we are joined right now by a good friend, and he brought a guest along with them as well. We are joined by members of the People's Coalition. A facilitator is our brother Harold Foley. And
How you doing?
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon to you. And he also brought another member of the People's Coalition. Miss Cherry is with him today.
Good evening.
good to see you. Thank you for being a first time guest. Hopefully, it's not the last time. You are now officially family, Miss Cherry. I want you to know that.
This is the first time on the radio.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Razor, you hear that?
Yeah.
Be good. Be good.
Hey, look, I'm over here grinning because she made me feel warm. She gave me that revival welcome. Welcome to all y'all, one and all. I love it, Miss Cherry. I love it.
So brother Harold, as always, you wear many hats, but you're always about that good activism when it comes to criminal justice reform. So again, today we're here mainly to talk about the People's Coalition, but it feeds into a lot of work that you've talked about before when you've been on here. Especially when it comes to prisoner rights, and getting rights restored and all that, and just advocating for ex-felons and whatnot, or current felons as well. So People's Coalition, though, maybe new to some. So go ahead and let folks know the meaning and the work behind the People's Coalition.
So
go ahead and lean in for us.
The People's Coalition was created in 2018. It was created right after the Summer of Hate. That's when I started there as an organizer. And what I did, I looked around and see who was really upset about the officers to stand around watching people get their heads bust. And so what stemmed from that was in 2018, there was a resolution passed for the city to start a police oversight board. Which was great because, I started LAJC Legal Aid, and I was like, wow, this is a great opportunity because I would have everything I need. I would have, an attorney to help me figure out what to do and what to say and talk in terms of the law. And so in 2018 to 2019, the People's Coalition was created. And it was a coalition of different folks and individuals who came together to say, hey, let's come together and figure out how to dismantle the criminal justice system where no money is really going to it, but it's going to outside to help people who have mental health or substance abuse. And so in 2019, we helped the oversight board to push for a oversight here in Charlottesville. And in 2019, October, I remember it's October 19, things didn't go as well as we thought. And city council told the folks in the People's Coalition, this is a dealing rule state. You had to go to the state to get this change. We went to the state, March 2020, the pandemic happened. But what was so amazing for me to see, because the people who are in the People's Coalition have the lived experience or have been, incarcerated or have seen police brutalize their families. They stayed and they went to the General Assembly and they testified and they gave testimony about why it's important. So real quick, that's a little quick about the People's Coalition, but I want to talk, pass the mic to Cherry Henley, who is part of the People's Coalition, and she can tell you the group that she has and how it is functioning.
All right, Ms. Henley.
Yes. My organization is called Lending Hands. I created Lending Hands. Am I close enough? I created Lending Hands. As he said, I had lived experience with the criminal justice system. And the main thing I just wanted to do was better people's lives, help people re-enter back into society. So I created Lending Hands, doing a lot of re-entry work from the beginning, just kind of connecting them to resources. It was my main thing because I did a lot of it incarcerated as well. So I brought it out on the outside.
Right.
And you know, I did a lot of things like transporting people to work release at the jail.
Okay.
Then I created an office at on Concord Avenue. I have 703 with Virginia Organizers Office building.
Mhm.
And also I have a house in Fluvanna now where people can come and live, women can come and live.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. I got out and I started writing my proposal kind of inside of prison.
Mhm.
I knew what I wanted to do kind of, you know, but you know, God had, you know, I'm one of them kind of ones you got to kind of kick in the butt a little bit to get it done. So I guess he said that's what he had to do. But anyway, so that's what I do. And now I collaborate with other organizations like, you know, what Harold is doing and People Coalition, the Jail Committee, we're kind of the same. And many other groups like you'll hear more about, like the Spongebob Council and all those.
Spongebob Council.
Yeah. So anywhere criminal justice reform is happening in Charlottesville, I'm there.
That is awesome.
Mhm.
You know, congrats to y'all. Like, I gotta say kudos to that.
Yeah,
because
that's a
like,
big deal.
I mean, like this, like the story is so inspirational. And Harold, like you take a moment as well for, you know, I know most of Charlottesville. We have listeners outside of Charlottesville as well, or people that may be new to Charlottesville. Like just like she gave a little bit of her background, give a little bit of yours. Because one thing we run into a lot is a lot of times people see faces and people trying to do the work, but they don't always know that, hey, I've been through what you're going through, and that's why I'm so passionate about this. So, like, so sort of just share some of your inspiration and passion on why you've been doing this for so many years.
So, and I got caught up in the war on drugs. I was a casualty of that, right? So in the early 90s, I was incarcerated, and I was in the feds, the federal prison. And the federal prison was kind of strange for me because you know, I live in Charlottesville, and you know, you see a lot of white folks. And when I got locked up, I remember I went through Atlanta USP, and it got dark because they got an 80-foot wall, and they put me in the bullpen. And I looked around in the bullpen, and I see nothing but white and brown people. I mean, black and brown people. Sorry. And at that moment, I said, "Wait a minute, why am I in here?" And that was the jumping start for me to start figuring out how to come out and do things differently. And so what I did was I learned my organizing skills from a neighborhood association, FAR, the Public Housing Association of Residents. That's when my first organizing happened. And then after that, I landed a job with Virginia Organizing, where that's where all my criminal justice organizing started, where I was doing restoration of rights. You know, I met with the governor to say, hey, we need to change this this application, because for folks who in the early days, we had to do a 13-page application to get our rights back. And so right now, you can just go online and put your social security number and see if you get your rights back. And so what I try to do is dismantle criminal justice for thousands, because I know I have people who are locked up, who are incarcerated, you know, and this criminal justice system that we are in was built off of racially motivated in things in which they did, right? You know, the black laws, when, you know, the police was created because of slavery, and, you know, the slaves was running away. So this whole system we are in is definitely still part of the criminal, part of the racial justice system that the, you know, the Klan and the other folks, white supremacy, didn't want us a part of. And people still sitting in the system and believe that they're doing some work. But anytime you have a certain way of doing a meeting, that is you're in the criminal, you're in the white supremacy work that is still going on. But what I want to do is, like I said, dismantle the criminal justice system. I believe that people can't get well in the cell. You know, we so often want to lock people up, but once you get people locked up, it's like you encage them. And so, you know, when they come out, they're going to feel encaged. But if we already have an opportunity to have them out, then they have an opportunity to thrive, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes, you know, the term, you can take someone to the water and they don't drink, but give them the opportunity to try to drink. That's what we're trying to do. And so with that said, one of the things we're working on now with the People's Coalition is we're trying to stop this. You know, I asked, this was the question I asked everybody when I knocked on the door.
In communities.
In communities.
Okay.
If you had $73 million, what would you do with that $73 million in Charlottesville?
Okay.
Right? And the things we getting from people are drug treatment, after school programs, teachers, housing, right? Then I tell them no, they want to put $73 million in a jail. And people are like really surprised about that. One of the things that is so surprising to us as the ones who's doing the door knocking, the People Coalition, we've been in spite in the Almar Sharjah Regional Jail, and City Council said they did their due diligence and they had community outreach, and the community want this. I say we knocked on about 200 doors, about 50, 60 people answer, right? Nobody knows this is happening over there at the jail. And so,
Harold, let me ask you, how does this funding that I guess has already been approved to give to the local jail not provide the resources that sounds like you may have identified those who were incarcerated, whether jail or prison, need to actually be rehabilitated or to have access to what they need?
So just the thing, I think it's not one time 73 million. It's, for instance, Albemarle County has to pay about $2 million for 27 years. Charlottesville 1.5 million for 27 years, and Nelson County about 500,000-600,000. Right, that money can go into the coffers somewhere else. Right, what we understand is the conditions over there is bad. Right, we know
of the building,
one building, though.
There's
one building that was built in 1974, and then there was a new section built in 2000. That they don't even use. Right. And so what we're trying to say is,
which can house how many people?
Yeah. Oh, that pod can house 80 some people, right? And so what we saying is like, you got this new part that you don't even use for whatever reasons you say, right? But you want to put this big Taj Mahal of a jail over it on Avon Street, right? Because you want to say, well, we want it to be a better condition. So, you know, we talk about the 3 C's. There's this thing called the 3 C's. When people are talking about building jails, compassion, contemporary, and capacity, right? And that they pull on your heartstrings. But really, what people should understand is, I don't care how many mental health rooms they put in a jail, you can't get well in the cell, right?
Still in the cage.
And what we want to do is we want to invest in our community. We want to invest into our village. Right. You know, one of the things that we understand is, you know, if somebody say $1.5 million is nothing, they tell them a lie. $1.5 million can hire 16 teachers over at the school, right?
Do a lot.
Right. Right now, the school system is having a deficit of $2 million, right? But then you hear on the news that, oh wow, the parking garage went from $300,000 to $1.8 million. So where are we going to get all this money, right? And furthermore, I'm going to let people know that money that they're going to put in jail is your money. It's the taxpayer money. It's not nobody else's money but your money. And you know what we want to do is definitely think about mental health, right? We want to think about how we can help people who are unhoused, right? 1.5 million, what can they do for the unhoused, right? You know, so I want Cherry to talk a little bit more about
to prevent these people from even having an encounter with the criminal justice system.
Right. Yeah. So, you know, and I'm just making an assumption. My assumption is too, is like, are we building this jail for the unhoused? Right.
So but before we go further though, that's county, like that's in the county. So what is the percentage of responsibility that the city has? Because that jail is technically on county property.
Yeah, no, the jail, the county got almost $2 million for 27 years.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it break down in like,
and you don't have no exact. I'm just curious on is this a big problem for city proper as far as budget wise, or is it more of an issue we should be taking up with the county? No, as far as budget,
I'll be honest.
The city got to put so much amount. How much is it?
1.5 million.
1.5
million.
Okay. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. How much city has?
I'll be honest with you. Sometimes the city is a better place to do organizing because the county doesn't really listen. The county sometimes have this idea that they don't have homelessness or a housing problem, right? I mean, and it's evidence of how much money they put into for a whole affordable housing, right? And so sometimes we feel like the city can be the ones to make that change because it's progressive, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes they're progressive, right? But, you know, I think what we really want to, you know, have people think about is like, you know, if you have an opportunity to really engage in making people's lives better on the outside is a better thing to do.
Yeah.
Right. But like I said before, there is a one part of the building that is like should not be right.
Need to be renovated.
Okay.
And so this is the problem that we have. They came to us, the community, and we forced them to say, how can we get a smaller option? So they came with 3 options, and they did community outreach with 3 options, and so we got these 3 options, and you know it could be we can have the lower option could be 25 million versus you know the higher option. We get to city council, and they lied to us. There was only one option, it's that $73 million option. Option 3,
which is
the Taj Mahal with part 2, also add another room, floor if they need it. So it's really a big expansion. They're not saying it's an expansion, but it's an expansion of that jail that we are trying to like say, wait a minute, hold up. Since the beginning of the pandemic, the population of the jail has been dropping, right? You know, at one time, the capacity of that jail was 3-something. At one time, they had over 630-something people in that jail. But that is gone.
And did all 3 of those localities that you mentioned, City, Albemarle County, Nelson County, have to agree to this expansion?
Yes.
All have to agree? Okay.
So all of them have to agree. You know, they have the Albemarle Charlottesville Regional Jail Authority, who is where is the whole thing is happening, you know. So in 2019, they did a study about the HVAC system. The HVAC system was really messed up. And in the old part, they got a cooler system. And so they did an estimate of $1.9 million just for the HVAC system to make sure that things are working out well. They scrapped that and say, you know what? Let's try to get this as much money into this jail to make it look contemporary.
And I don't think they're doing very much different and I could be wrong, for people inside, you know, like programs or, you know, it's just mainly a lot of staffing improvement maybe, which they're going to do, you know. And I guess being a formerly incarcerated person, there are some people who do change, who do want to better their lives, you know what I mean? And also, we had what we call the thing I talk about a lot of times is the DMC study, where it showed where Black men, of course, were being overly sentenced. You know, they spend longer times in jails than their white counterparts, and also, so there are options that we could do with the money, such as, like I said, we have no substance abuse treatment. You know, a lot of people are from substance abuse, trauma and things like that. You know, they're not doing anything to help people with housing, you know, and even, you know, I guess today, and I got a lot going on today because I got, you know, I have a death in the family, and, you know, people in the hospital, and I'm getting older. The last thing I think about these days is harming people. You know, that puts up in my stomach. You know, how do you, you know, my focus today is how can we do more for people? And I know a lot of people say, well, you know, a lot of people talk about, well, they broke the law, they did this, they did that. But, you know, sometimes you could be going through a traumatic episode, you know, and it can do, you know, bring about certain things. But also, so that's the kind of work we want to do. And the school was at city council asking for monies, and city council refused them. They didn't want to do nothing on it front end to help people at all. So,
Yeah, that's more
So
what it's
Harold, when
about.
you all came in, you
Yeah.
gave us a handout that kind of encapsulates what you're describing here. It's called the Prison Policy Initiative. These 3 C's of jail construction arguments are capacity argument for a bigger jail that is required to house all of the incarcerated, contemporary argument, which is new construction is needed to update an outdated jail, and then the compassionate argument, which is new construction is necessary to treat incarcerated people. But the counter to that, according to this policy, is to rather than fund jail construction, that we reduce pretrial detention, focus on community-based care, and reduce total jail capacity.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And I think too, you look at the bulk of people who's incarcerated or in jail over at ACRJ, Mount Charleston Regional Jail. And most of them have misdemeanors, right? Why are we locking people up with misdemeanors, right? Because we like to criminalize the poor, right? We put the burden on poor people when it comes to criminal justice. And so why are we putting folks who have misdemeanors in prison, in jails? Why can't we help them figure out how to move through their life?
Yes, indeed. Yes, and ladies and gentlemen, we are joined by none other than Harold Foley and Miss Cherry Henley with the People's Coalition doing so much great work in the world. And Razor, I've been waiting for you to get on this mic, man. Because check it out, though, Razor. Let me alley-oop something to you right about now.
Yeah.
Because all that Harold's talking, we all know that being preemptive, being proactive is the way to go. But we also know that the money's in the medicine. And I think we all here aren't that naive to not know that the criminal justice system is an economic revenue stream as well. We know this. So Razor.
Yes, sir.
I don't know what you had on your mind, but that's why I wanted you to come in at that the system is what? The system is working like it's not supposed
broken.
to. Yeah, the system ain't broken.
Yeah. Now, I also want y'all to think about this. Harold, while y'all are advocating for people in this system, right? I think, and this is just Razor's opinion, that the powers that be are so diabolical that they're going to fill these jails with the homeless people because they've been slowing up on, like, you go over to places like Washington Park and it might be some of our friends and family members, but the open drug market, they don't even bother. And the chief even said so when he was online, like they don't focus on those things as much, right? We know that housing is an issue. We know that the homelessness is an issue. Charlottesville tends not to like things that make them look bad the world, right? And because we've taken down statues and things of that nature, right? And a large part of the people that were advocates for taking down the statues also advocate for the people in these places that's living, the homeless, right? I'm fearful that the jail is going to get filled up with people that can't defend themselves. The public defenders are already overloaded. So people aren't going to get advocates. They're going to get representation, which entitles you to get more time, you know what I'm saying, with nothing to do about it. So do we have a backup plan in place for when it starts to happen to people that really can't defend themselves? Because I help with like the soup kitchens and dropping off food and stuff, right? And a large part of the people that's here now aren't from here. That's right. The homeless people. So now you have somebody who pretty much can't even reach back to get help from where they come from and when they go to the court system here in Charlottesville. Do we have anything set in place with them?
Well, so no, we don't. I think the other side of the criminal justice system is figuring out how to get people in a safe place, right? And so one of the things that, and not just a plug for legal aid, one of the things we are looking for is people who are, who have fines and fees, but also have a representation from a court-appointed lawyer or someone who represented them that wasn't paid. Because one of the things we're working on is trying to get lawyer at first appearance, because that's what happens. Most people who have money have a lawyer at first appearance, where that's the most important place there when you have an attorney or need an attorney, because, that's when all the legalities come running at you and you don't know what's going on, right? Right. And so most times people, open their mouth, right? So anytime you open your mouth when an attorney is not there, whatever you said can be used against you, right? And so what we looking for though is we don't have anything in play now, but what we understand though at Legal Aid, in order to do things, sometimes you have to take drastic measures, right? And so we're looking for clients to do some research to see how we can get attorney at first appearance. So anybody who hear me or know anybody who was locked up and had a court-appointed lawyer or got some fines and fees, reach out to me.
That's right.
And, you know, I'm here to guide. I'm like a conduit, you know, trying to figure out how to get people where they need to be. So reach out to me because I breathe and live dismantling the criminal justice system.
Yeah.
And so we definitely that has been the case for a long time. RZA.
And join the People Coalition.
Yeah, join the People's Coalition. Yeah, we look for people.
Yeah.
How do they reach you? The People's Coalition to join.
You can call me on my phone. My phone number it's been out there because I've been doing restoration rights throughout the state. So my number is 434-009-0791. And I do this thing called one-on-one to see if you would like to do the work that we do. Because sometimes you bring people in and they're like, oh, this is not for me. So, yeah, you had a question.
Yeah, I do. So in terms of having legal representation available at first appearance, is there a policy that is preventing that from happening right now?
No, it's no policy. It's nothing.
So you just need a procedure in place that...
RZA, right. It had to be through the state.
Okay.
So the state has to say, we want this to happen. But also, RZA, right, some money got to be put in there some kind of way. Because anything the state legislators do, if they don't fund it, it's not going to happen, right? And so we're trying to push the state legislators to understand that some people can't afford a lawyer at the first appearance. 95% people can't do it, right? If you're black, you can't. If you're brown, you can't. You know what I mean? Why don't you want to sugarcoat it, right? And so how do we get people who need this representation at the beginning?
Gotcha.
We got to change legislation.
So we have been doing a lot of forums though on people who have been impacted by the criminal justice system to just give an insight on not having an attorney at first appearance. And a lot of times, I guess they just give simple answers like, you know, they didn't know what to do. You know, you first go to court, you don't know what's going on or what to expect. You know what I mean? So that's another reason a lot of people are over at the jail. They call it free trial because you know you don't have an attorney to fight for you during that time.
That's right.
So a lot of people are held either because, like you said, they don't have an attorney or they can't get bond or they don't know what they don't know what to ask for generally.
Yeah.
So let me say this too. I'm sorry. There is a attorney who is working on counsel fees. And the number to call is 804-521-7306.
And this is for who? An attorney doing what?
So this is an attorney who's doing the research. And this is for people who got billed for public representation.
Yeah, gotcha. All right, so Harold, we are up against the time, but thank y'all as always. But make sure that people know your upcoming events and where to see y'all. I got you, brother. I got
one more event. I got one more event, and this is really good. We got this thing called the Expungement Clinic, and we help people who need their records expunged. And so there's a new law that's coming up in 2025, and I got some paperwork for y'all to see it. But as it stands now, this law that we are in was created in 1974. So the only thing that can be expunged on your record is a dismissal or a non-process charge. But it still costs you money. It gives you trauma because you got to go to the police department to get your fingerprint. And so what we're doing is doing a one stop where if you sign up and you got these charges, a lawyer will be there. You don't have to pay nothing. You get your fingerprinted. We submit it to court. We got the common attorney there to sign off. Nice, so if people looking to get some records expunged, the expungement clinic going to be happening October the 31st. It's Halloween. Just Halloween. So come there, get your things straight, and whatever. But we also be going to have
about 6, 7 o'clock. What time?
No, it's going to start from 10.
Oh, in the morning.
Okay. 10 to 4. Right. And if you can we don't have the QR code yet, but what we need you to do is register beforehand. Right. But Miss Cherry and I are going to do a info session maybe 2 weeks before that, so we can get people signed up. And the info session is going to talk about the new law in 2025,
which will get a few more things expunged when people register.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely share that with us, the registration link.
I will
make sure that we share with the folks.
Okay.
Yes, indeed. With Miss Cherry, Mr. Harold, thank y'all. As always, please keep up the great work. Yes, indeed. Thank you. Because it's something generationally that we got to keep up. We can't give up the fight, right?
Mm-mm.
Can't give up the fight.
Yeah.
So yes, indeed. So and Harold, I know you said for the People's Coalition to call you directly. So give me that number one more time.
Yeah. If you want to be part of the People's Coalition, there's 2 ways to reach me. You can reach me by phone. My number is 434-409-0791, or you can just reach me by email, harold@justice4all.org.
Yeah, I enough record that.
But I'm gonna thank y'all. First of all, I'm gonna say thank y'all so much. Like I said when I first got here, y'all are the ones who keeping the finger nail on the Black experience in Charlottesville, and I love that. And I want to say continue doing what you do, because if you weren't here, a lot of people wouldn't understand what's going on in Charlottesville that are Black and brown issues.
Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you for all that you do, to both of you. Thank you for sharing your time with us on this Sunday. Let us know how we can support. We look forward to having you back. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And y'all are inspirations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, proud of all the work you do.
If I was white, I'd be red right now.